Starstruck.
Hello and welcome to Joyride. I am Jared Brandon Flandy, and
I am Kyle Dauterman.
this is the podcast where it's not about the destination, but about the journey. How are you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jared?
I'm doing just fine. So here we are, Season 9, the Pacific Northwest themed Season 9.
Yes.
All right, I'm from Oregon, you're from Oregon, so we have a little expertise, you could say, on the subject matter for this season.
I would say so. I try to keep my eyes open, go around a little bit.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how long have you lived in the county here?
In Yamhill County, this would probably be 20 years.
20 years? So
Yeah.
Good chunk of your life. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially all my life in Yamhill County. Only a little bit in... What's Beaverton in Washington County?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be bad if we said that we had good knowledge and then we immediately got that wrong.
That's pretty bad. So I was born in Lebanon, of all places.
Okay. Yeah, the city, not the country.
Yeah, not the city, not the country. Yep. In the South Valley, as we'd say.
Yeah, the very South Valley.
And then my earliest formative years were in Staten and Scio, two small little towns outside of Salem.
Staten is nice.
Yeah. So all the people in Staten, hey, okay.
All the people in Washington stopped listening. We gained all the Staten viewers, so we're balancing out, folks.
But I've spent most of my life here in Yamhill County.
There you go.
But we are going up to Washington for
Correct.
part 2 of this multi-part special episode here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is episode 2 of season 9. This is the Barefoot Bandit, Colton Harris-Moore, part 2. And we left Colton. He had stolen a Mercedes.
Yep.
He leaped out of it as it was heading for a propane tank. It narrowly missed that, and now it's heading for a cliff.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Never where you want your Mercedes to be.
no.
Usually it's just at the mechanic, but, in this instance, it's kind of on its way there, maybe.
So, here we go. After chasing a Mercedes-Benz, only to watch the driver jump from it while it was still moving, the police then watched in horror as the driverless car was heading right toward a propane tank. It avoided the tank, but then kept rolling in the direction of a cliff. The car itself must have earned some good karma on its own, since it not only managed to avoid the propane tank, but also the cliff.
Wow.
Instead of blowing up or getting smashed at the bottom of the cliff, the car came to a final stop by ramming into a trash can.
Somewhere an insurance adjuster was like, yeah!
Trashy ending. Sorry. Everyone's shutting off now.
Aye.
So, once the police changed their underwear, they figured out that the car was registered to Carol Starr, a neighbor of Colt and his mother.
Okay.
The driver may have been able to flee the car on foot, but in his haste, he failed to take with him some important and incriminating evidence.
Yep.
According to author Bob Frill, now Bob Frill is somebody, he wrote a book where a lot of the source material comes from here,
Yep.
Okay? Quote, when Colton bailed out, he left behind a backpack he'd stolen from Starr's home. A peek inside revealed digital cameras, a GPS, and other recently stolen property, including a wallet containing credit cards reported missing just 2 days before, end quote. Not good.
Yeah.
When the police were inspecting the digital cameras, they were able to reclaim some deleted photos with the help of specialty software. What they discovered was nothing short of gold. It was a series of different self-portraits, but one of them left the biggest impact by far.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if anyone is familiar with this story, you've seen this picture, okay? The particular photo was of a dark-haired teenage boy laying in a patch of ferns, wearing a black polo t-shirt polo shirt embroidered with the Mercedes-Benz logo, while at the same time staring upward toward the camera with a coy but nonetheless innocent smile. Little did Colt know this photo would become part of his undoing, since it would be plastered on plenty of wanted posters. But with time, it would also make him something he may not have expected, a legend.
Oh.
So, by the way, look at if you don't know what it is, if you just type in the Barefoot Bandit, that's probably the photo that's the first to come up with Google.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
okay.
it is.
So, for his next spree, Colt decided to leave his home of Camino. Being on a vast continent with many targets, he could have went anywhere, but in the end, he decided to stay close to home. Colt would steal just about, let's see here. Colt would, sorry, my iPad did something funny here.
That's all right.
Okay. So he ended up making his way just a handful of kilometers north of his stomping grounds in the San Juan Islands, which was Orcas Island. So that's where he went next. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Colt's thefts started to become more high-tech. When he was not breaking into a home for a hot shower or some microwave food, he took advantage of being able to easily order anything he wanted from Mr. Bezos and other online retailers.
Yep.
So he very much is kind of a modern-day bandit. But exactly that. He's a modern day bandit. It's easier for him than just having to go in and steal it. And he go into somewhere to steal it sometimes. They just bring it to you. They just bring it to you. Yeah. So
theft made easy.
Yeah, definitely made easy. Aside from unlocked doors and easy to access credit cards, islanders are also known to not have their computers password protected. Also leaving their online purchase information ripe for the taking.
Yeah, back then it wasn't as common.
You hit it on the head. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back then, I think people are, still people do a lot of keychain stuff where they save all their passwords. But back then, I think people were far less on the alert than they would be now.
They just didn't know.
They just didn't know. So you could pretty much get into anyone's computer at that time, and passwords and credit card information, it's all saved. So really anyone could just kind of order what they want if they were not, unscrupulous, basically.
Yeah. And the most complicated password was like pet name 123 exclamation point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know my password?
This is not incriminating evidence.
It's like Spaceballs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Calm the desert.
Colt, ever resourceful, simply did not use the loose credit cards or the easy-to-access payment information for trivial things.
Mm-hmm.
He used them for practical purchases.
Okay.
For example, aside from headlamps and other camping supplies, Colt was also known to purchase products of a media nature, and they were not just MP3s for his iPod, but also flight manuals and instructional DVDs for airplanes.
Wonder.
He's not just subscribing to Airplane Monthly. These have a very specific purpose.
Airplane Monthly. Are you a subscriber?
I'm not a subscriber to Airplane Monthly, but by all means, subscribe to the Joyride newsletter. Right?
This episode brought to you by the Joyride newsletter.
So, Belinda Landon had recently lost her husband, Vern.
Okay.
But still ran their restaurant and lounge. What do you think it was named?
Is this on Orca Island?
Mm-hmm. I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Orca Island, let's see. Man, there's lots of things it could be.
Well, her husband's name was Vern, so it was aptly named Vern's Restaurant and Lounge.
I was way overthinking it. Weirdly enough, this episode also brought to you by Burns Restaurant and Lounge. Strangely enough.
One day, Belinda's daughter, Marion, who was the manager of the restaurant, received a puzzling package that was addressed to her mother. In it was a DVD set that was entitled, quote, Sporty's Complete Recreational Pilot Flight Training Course.
She's probably like, what?
Marion called the company. See, this is back when companies still just kind of sent you things. You didn't necessarily do everything through Amazon. You know?
Yeah.
Marion called the company, and they told her they had received an unwanted order for the DVDs that was charged to her mother's credit card. The company told her that all she had to do was simply return the product, and all would be well, which is what Marion did. Okay, so she kind of just brushed it off.
She was just like, that was weird.
That was weird, yep. Now, I don't mean to get too off here, but DVDs, okay?
Yeah.
I've talked to some people. They've gotten rid of their DVD players. They've come back to me and said, I need a new player. Have you run into that at all?
I'm a big physical media person, so I have not gone away from it. I'm on the other side. I'm encouraging people.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of, own stuff, right? I'm on the Blu-ray side now.
Well, a disc, physical media.
Yeah, I'm on Blu-rays right now, and it's crazy because you can find these Blu-rays for nothing. They're giving them away.
Yeah.
You can find a great film, $2 on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
You can own it forever. Anyways, total side note here.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's not. It's not.
You
like
can even learn to fly a Cessna.
Yeah. It's not 8 tracks where they don't make them. They still make DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks. It's still very much a thing.
It's still very much a business.
Okay. So after the DVD business, so this is Marion. The next morning, she went to her office in the restaurant and made a shocking discovery. The office was in a disheveled state, and a large portion of one of the walls was empty since the steel safe that was in there was removed and appeared to have been torn open with a crowbar.
Oh, wow.
Which takes some muscle. Somebody over 6 foot tall, for example. Well, all the cash, totaling about $10,000, was gone.
Wow.
And all that was left was a credit card with a piece of paper. It turned out the card was the one that was used to purchase the flight DVDs. And the paper that was with it said, quote, here you go, I don't need this anymore.
Well, at least he's figured out to rob places that have money versus the library. That was sort of baffling.
A step up, yes, okay.
If you were here for the first episode, Colton burglarized allegedly the library, and it had $61, which honestly was more than I was expecting. I don't know. Why does the library even have $61? $10,000 bigger than 61.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When the security camera footage was viewed later, it revealed the burglar had been barefoot.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Is this case going to be cracked open with toe prints? Is that where we're headed?
That does play a part in this a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want to give it all away. But,
no, sure. But yeah.
The following day after the safe had been broken into, Martin and Ellen Brody, probably a Jaws reference for privacy.
Okay.
And they're on an island, so I see where they were going with that one. Came home after a seafaring cruise to discover their home had been broken into. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, not much was taken other than a wallet and a laptop. What was even more odd was the robber appeared to have taken a shower since there was water on the bathroom floor. Don't hear that one too often.
Yeah. I feel like that would make me feel worse. Come into my house, take my stuff, but like shower.
Use my razor, whatever it is.
Yeah. Like, man, I was already out of shampoo, and now this guy's in here. It's probably judging me that I'm out of shampoo.
Probably.
Unbelievable. Also, this guy goes everywhere barefoot. Your shower's probably just filthy. You're just like, what the hell? Just take
grass.
Yeah. Just take my laptop, you sicko. Seriously. So many things to unpack there. I'm just imagining them sitting down with the cop and the cop being like, Did you take a shower? No. This dirt, where's this dirt from? Wonder if they collected it as evidence.
Keep that in mind.
Okay. I'm going to keep that in the back pocket.
Yeah, tuck that away.
Yep.
When the following Sunday came, Martin learned from his neighbors that someone had also broken into their house, and the husband himself even tried to chase the burglar down but could not keep up. He did find a bicycle the burglar may have been using nearby, however. With this news, Martin decided to finally report their own incidents to the local police. Mm-hmm. So the sergeant that spoke to Martin let him know they had recovered the burglar's bike. Martin was relieved and asked if they could lift fingerprints on the bike. But according to the sergeant, quote, funny thing is, we brought the bike to the station, but now it's missing.
I'm making inferences here.
Okay. Martin asked what kind of bike it was. The sergeant replied it was a Gary Fisher with red flames. Martin suddenly realized he had a bike just like that, but he knew for a fact that it was at his house.
Mm-hmm.
Both intrigued, Martin and the cop went to look at the bike. Martin then noticed it was far more dirty than he had remembered. The cop checked the serial numbers, and lo and behold, it was the exact same bike that was taken to the station as evidence.
Return to sender.
This left only one conclusion. The burglar had broken into the station, found the keys to the evidence room, and eventually returned the bike he had been using to its rightful owner.
Hey, you got to hand it to him. You know, he's just speeding up the process.
He broke into the police station
to return evidence.
Yeah, to return evidence.
That's some real monk stuff, you know. That's some real wacky criminal behavior.
Other strange things started to occur around the town of East Sound on Orcas Island and other parts of Orcas Island. Okay? Uh-huh. A local resort owner one night noticed someone may have been using a hot tub on the property. He went to investigate and discovered a kid over 6 feet tall in the hot tub fully clothed. When he realized he had been found, he simply got out of the hot tub and left. I guess he was doing his laundry.
Yeah.
So,
He's very efficient.
Yeah, he doesn't have a house. So,
all in one.
All in one. So you take a bath and wash your clothes.
How unsettling would that be to just walk out and look in your hot tub?
Like someone just doesn't care.
Fully clothed, just sitting there. You're like, can I help you?
He just gets up and leaves.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know what to think at that point. I wouldn't sleep for weeks just thinking about that. Good Lord.
Meanwhile, the Brodies decided to venture off again on another cruise. Once they were in their cabin, Ellen logged into her computer and discovered a series of emails from PayPal for expensive items, including $320 for a smartphone.
If only they were that cheap.
So at that time, that was spendy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a cruise, by the way?
I have not.
I'm not either. Have you ever been interested?
You know, not really. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't know. I'm the adventuring kind. When I travel, I want to go see things, do things.
I am too.
And I just don't know. I don't see the appeal of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
It's kind of like Vegas on a boat, which is what's not the appealing part, you know. But I like coastal stuff. I like nautical stuff, so that would appeal to that aspect. But yeah, I'm kind of there with you.
Yeah.
So they came to the conclusion the person who had broken into their home, ate their cereal, and took a shower, also found the document that Ellen kept that had all their financial account numbers and passwords.
Did people do? They had one document with everything on it.
Again, they're not. I mean, they're out in an island. They're not used to this happening. So I'm gonna let them slide on it. All right.
Okay. It's sort of like in a spy movie where it's like, oh, all the important info that they needed is right here.
Look, all the launch codes to the submarine. They're conveniently here. Yeah, I know.
Wow, right here for me? That's amazing.
So
yeah.
They took note that a package was soon arriving at their doorstep, so they notified the police. The island authorities took this as an opportunity to possibly catch the identity thief when he came to collect the package he had ordered at the Brody's front door. Mm-hmm. So they organized a stakeout. On September 23rd, it's not quite this date, but close, 2008, a courier notified the police the package had been dropped off. The next day, the police had organized an old-fashioned stakeout for that day, okay?
Is this the first recorded stakeout of an Amazon package?
It could be. The first porch pirate.
Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, this is early years of porch pirating, if he's not the first.
Yeah.
It was back when people it was like, you don't leave it there all day long?
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't think that. I mean, it was new, you know?
No. This was probably still before Ring cameras and things like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably not even like a lot of like little security cameras around the house or anything like that. So, in fact, I know there's not. These houses have no security. That's the upside for him. I mean, they're not even locked most of the time.
Yeah. He's just walking in.
Mm-hmm. A retired school teacher turned a volunteer law dog was waiting inside the house. At around 8 p.m., while our scholarly deputy was in the kitchen, he heard someone slide a key into the lock of the front door. The door opened, and the deputy was surprised by a figure that he described as NBA big. The officer cried, "Freeze!" Instead, he was greeted with a heavy dose of pepper spray.
Yeah, that'll do it. They only had one guy?
In the house.
Yeah, come on, guys.
In the house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. A later account from Mr. Harris-Moore himself would differ somewhat, including not using pepper spray. But one thing is for certain, Colt dashed off out of the house and into the night so fast he might as well have been a phantom.
You know, I've got a great pepper spray story.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, my wife and I have been dating for over 10 years. We've been married almost 5. And early in our relationship, 2 or 3 years into our relationship, we were going on a date. Mm-hmm. And it was in our car, and we were just about to leave my house. And she had, this was when she was in college, she had on her keychain one of those pepper sprays, you know, and she would walk at night a lot, so she had it. And she had also had some mouse spray around the car. And she had used a mouse spray and then asked if I wanted some. And I said, sure. I had gotten back into the car, and I just grabbed something, stuck it on my tongue, and pulled the plunger. And I pepper sprayed my own tongue. Jared, when I tell you that is the worst shit I've ever done in my entire life. It was beyond terrible. My mouth is watering. It tastes terrible. I'm coughing. I'm spitting. I'm in a complete fit, and I realize what I've done, and I'm not laughing yet. Obviously, it's one of the funniest stories ever, but I'm standing under there in my kitchen sink. My one-day bride is standing there watching me with my mouth under the sink on full blast water, just trying to get it took probably half an hour, but I recovered. Yeah. Food has never tasted the same. No, I'm kidding.
Did it taste like pepper?
It just overwhelms all your senses. It didn't taste like anything. It just tasted like I wanted to die. It was like, oh, every neuron in your brain is firing.
I'm sorry.
It was an amazing experience in that it was terrible. Yeah.
Well, you know how that guy felt.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can't even imagine the eyes. It's 10 times worse. Yeah.
So Colt dashed off out of the house into the night so fast he might as well have been a phantom. Much like a classic Universal horror movie, just without the torches and pitchforks, a town meeting was held at the Orcas Island Chamber of Commerce to address the recent burglaries. Mm-hmm. The big question for many of the residents was why had no forensic work been done in order to figure out the identity of the suspect.
Because this is a different island than the one he had originally been on.
So his home island's Camino. So he's on Orcas.
Yes.
And mind you, he's not really known and famous yet.
Yeah.
So they just don't know who this is. Yeah. Other than the fact that there's this person running around barefoot. You know. So, Officer Vernenthaler, I'm assuming Vernenthaler.
I thought it was going to be the return of Vern, but it's not.
Yes. Replied with, this is what he's telling the the angry mob, okay? Quote, "The reality is not like CSI on television," he said. "It is hugely expensive to do lab work, and the labs are hugely backlogged," end quote.
Yeah.
This is in contrast to what Washington state authorities said, which is, yes, there are backlogs, but the WSP does not charge county authorities for lab work. Okay. In other words, Colt, whose fingerprints had been registered for some time, had got lucky because the island police were simply too lazy to collect evidence and send it in. This left our anti-hero to keep doing what he knew best: steal, survive, and every once in a while go on a joyride.
Yeah, and I can imagine that at a certain point early on, they would have thought it's just a string of random stuff. You know, it's just this, whatever. It's, you know, they probably didn't connect it.
They didn't, and I've heard different takes on the police aspect of this, especially these more rural ones, is that there's what you're saying to some other, I've heard some other arguments that they weren't very well trained, and they're used to like going out in calls once a month for maybe a domestic dispute, so they're not really prepared for something like this.
Sure.
So on November 12th, 2008, Colt decided he needed a little time away from Orcas Island. Since he was on the lam, leaving via the ferry system was not an ideal option. This being November, the sailing conditions were not exactly ideal either.
Yep.
With this in mind, Colt ventured to the island's airport late in the night. Colt, as you can imagine, was not shy about breaking into someone's property, whether it be a private home or a private air hangar.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird to get upset, to get weird about that now. I mean, once you've been doing it a while.
Being a man of taste, he chose one of the finer planes available in Orcas Island. It was a Cessna 182 worth about $150,000. It was also equipped with an $8,000 GPS system.
There you go.
As an interesting note, the plane was owned by Bob Rivers, the noted Seattle area radio personality who is the man behind Christmas songs, Walking Around in Women's Underwear, and Chipmunks Roasting on an Open Fire.
There you go.
All undisputed classics. Well, at least in my family.
Yeah.
We had the CD.
There you go.
Okay.
We'll call them disputed classics.
Okay,
and we'll move on from there.
Okay, we'll go on from there. Okay. Once the sun had risen, and using a small electric tow device, Colt opened the doors of the hangar and dragged the plane out to the airstrip. He jumped inside the plane and looked at the menagerie of buttons, gauges, dials, knobs, and gizmos that were all around him. For the average person, this would be beyond confusing, but not for Colt. In the words of author Bob Frill, quote, "The challenge at first is just learning where all the switches and gauges are located." But for Colton, though, this wasn't a problem. He had spent many hours looking at this dashboard, exacting reproduced on computer simulations. Even the walls of his bedroom, instead of being hung with scantily clad pop stars, displayed posters of airplane cockpits. Nerdy, but not.
Yeah. Concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A red flag, certainly.
Yeah. Colt with no formal training, or a pilot's license.
Yep.
Or a driver's license, for that matter.
Did he have shoes? Well, I guess we don't know.
I don't think he had shoes. I don't know, but he probably didn't. Taxied the plane down the runway. The little airplane positioned itself at the start of the runway. As unlawful as it was, this was the moment Colt had been waiting for his entire life. He was behind the controls of an aircraft, and all by himself. Just a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Our daring thief hit the throttle and started to cruise down the runway. With probably some sweat running down his brow, the plane was nearing the end of the road, literally. Colt pulled back on the controls, and the plane veered upward. Colt had achieved his dream. He was now an aviator.
And it was at this point that he changed his category of crime from petty theft and
to major felony.
Yeah, yes. to the Federal Aviation Administration being very interested in this small-time thief in the Puget Sound Islands.
Yeah. The cylinders of the Lycoming engine in the Cessna were purring just right as Colt was on his first solo joyride, even if it wasn't a stolen airplane.
Yep.
An airport he could have landed was back at his home island of Camino, but with so much heat on him, landing there would not have been a smart decision.
We're not making a lot of those right now.
No,
anyways.
he's not. Well, true.
Yeah.
So we
just got to go somewhere.
He's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Being from one of the most beautiful parts of the world, and no bias influencing that statement,
Sure.
Colt could have had a wonderfully scenic flight. He could have viewed scenic wonders including the Puget Sound, to Ewok-like forests, and even active volcanoes, but another oh-so-Pacific Northwest thing got in his way. Extreme weather.
Oh, I can imagine. It was November, as you said.
Our daring aviator decided to fly in the direction of a large obstacle, and a very large obstacle at that, the Cascade Mountain Range.
Yep.
Which cuts Washington and Oregon right in half, basically.
Yeah.
Much like the Misty Mountains of Middle-earth, the Cascades separate the lush shires of western Oregon and Washington from the deserts of the eastern portions of the states.
Yeah.
They are more than a cultural and a physical barrier, however. They are also a weather barrier. Gusts of wind constantly travel through the mountain vales, which can be strong and unpredictable, especially for a little plane buzzing and bobbing its way in the sky above.
Absolutely.
Years later, Colt would claim that due to the mist at one point, he could not see anything since everything became a total whiteout.
I can imagine he was probably in the midst of a cloud, and
that was a really loud whatever that was.
That was the Cessna.
That was the Cessna flying by.
It's called production value. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that the types of weather that impact planes going into SeaTac and PDX here in the Northwest, and those are large passenger planes, would impact a small plane like that 10 times as much. Mm-hmm. And for a pilot of this, it's hard to even call him a pilot. For someone behind the stick like this, I can imagine it was just pure terror at a certain point.
So even an experienced pilot, this is like I wouldn't want to do this if I didn't have to kind of conditions.
Exactly. Yeah.
He also claimed that the plane nosed downward, causing its novice pilot to have an unplanned religious experience. But fortunately, he was able to regain control of the aircraft. Our pilot and the little plane made it across the mountain range and was heading into the dusty interior of the region. Mm-hmm. He made it through it somehow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Eastern Washington, Yakima Indian Reservation. A group of Yakima hunters were on the lookout for elk. They were on sacred tribal ground known as, quote, the place where the wind lives. Okay. Mm-hmm. On that day, however, they did not see a herd of elk, but a small airplane circling above as if it was not exactly sure what it was doing there or where to land for that matter.
And they were entirely correct in that assumption.
Okay. Yes. This area, unlike the rest of eastern Washington, was not a featureless desert. There were trees, including ponderosa and tamarack, and just like a golf course, there were also water features, including small ponds. Mm-hmm. The little Cessna continued to circle around the area for another half hour, but the pilot of the plane apparently had finally decided on where to land. Colt knew he was going to have to attempt an emergency landing, but of course he had done his homework. He decided to swing the plane into the oncoming wind in order to physically slow the aircraft down. Colt chose a relatively flat area that was mostly covered in sagebrush. Tribal police, who later investigated the area, concluded the plane touched ground, not hard, but not soft either.
Okay. Expert police work.
It probably bounced up and down until it finally came to a stop with the help of a ditch.
Oh my gosh. So he does land.
He does land. And walks, apparently. So when Bob Rivers got the call that his plane had been found and the thief was already gone, he was a bit taken aback. He thought the plane may have been stolen by drug smugglers, but was even more surprised to learn the thief may have just stolen the plane for the hell of it. Quote, my plane stolen to take a joyride? Never, not especially on a day like that.
Yeah. It's compounding bad decisions.
And plane thefts are really rare, as you can imagine. And the only few times they are stolen is it's typically by drug smugglers who need a quick escape out, you know?
Yeah, because unlike almost any other form of transportation, when you take off in a plane, you need somewhere specific to land. Mm-hmm. You need somewhere with specific physical characteristics to land. You know, when you steal a car, you can put a car down in any. I'm not saying this from personal experience, but you can put down a car at any old 7-Eleven and take the keys out and walk away, and nobody will know the better of it. You can't land a Cessna at a 7-Eleven.
I mean, okay. We could all steal a car. We all know this big thing in the middle, turns it.
It's easy enough. Yeah.
Who steals an airplane?
Yeah.
Well, apparently someone does. So
yeah.
Mr. Harris-Moore has claimed, with nothing but the clothes on his back, including a pair of shoes this time.
Oh, thank God.
And with just 2 bottles of Gatorade, he had hiked more than 30 miles until he was able to jump a freight train heading for Oregon. Yeah, we said there wasn't going to be trains in this. There was one very briefly.
Wow.
So
trains, planes, and automobiles.
He then stole a car and drove to Reno, Nevada, where he laid low during the winter. Colt, in many ways, was mature for his age. You could even consider him a gentleman's thief, since he had a habit of returning and cleaning the fancy cars he stole. Nevertheless, Colt shamelessly broke into houses, cat-burgled his way into a hardware store, and attempted to pound his way into ATM machines like they were piñatas. Out of all the places he liked to target, he seemed to take a liking to Orcas Island, since he returned at some point after the first airplane theft.
Wow.
Again, not a usual thief MO, because why would you go back where you already suspected and expected, maybe,
Yeah, definitely a bit of the psychological profile
I think there's a lot of psychology stuff going on with the police, because he's not fitting typical parameters. That's why they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Okay?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're trying to apply a logical lens to something that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Exactly. At around 2:35 one particular morning, a man of the night, or a boy of the night, we should say, had creeped his way into the island market. Since the amount of break-ins that had been occurring on Orcas in the recent months, many homeowners and store owners had purchased security systems or cameras to protect their property. It was obvious the burglar had done his homework, since he got through the store's sliding doors. He made his way to the office of the store where the security system console was. After pushing as many buttons as he could, the boy of the night thought the system was off. What he didn't realize was he only turned off the monitor. When he went back into the main area of the store, there was plenty of footage being captured of his wrongdoings. The burglar naturally went for his favorite stuffed treat, the ATM machine.
Yep.
He then proceeded to smash his way inside of it, but the little machine that could refused to spill its lumps of cash.
Yep.
They are built pretty tough.
Yeah.
The one thing the burglar managed to do was cut himself on a sharp piece of plastic, causing him to bleed badly.
Yep.
He then ran to the cleaning products aisle, grabbed a bottle of bleach, and poured it all over the blood to contaminate the evidence.
Smart.
Yeah. He also washed the wound in the deli kitchen sink. Feeling...
I don't know why the deli kitchen sink is so
why the deli kitchen sink? Okay.
Did he have a
Maybe
piece
he was
of salami
hungry.
back
I
there
don't
too?
know, but probably.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Salami. Oh.
Well, he was beaten at an ATM machine for like an hour, so he was probably hungry. Right?
Yeah. The funny thing about that, okay, so you're stealing, money from the ATM at a store like that. Couldn't you just, you're at the store already. You could just take the stuff that you need. You don't need the money. I don't know.
Maybe he was planning for a rainy day. Hard to say.
Yeah.
But you are right. Usually he just stole what he needed. Stealing cash, that was not something he did particularly often. So,
yeah. A salami in the hand versus 2 salami in the bush. Something like that.
So, feeling defeated, the burglar eventually left the store before the morning crew arrived. Even though the burglar was gone, he did leave one thing behind. The blood with the bleach was not usable, but the blood that he had accidentally left in the deli sink was.
Yeah.
It did not take long to figure out the blood had come from one Mr. Colton Harris-Moore.
With 15 zeros worth of
whatever
certainty.
It was, yeah. With things getting hot, Colt probably thought it would be not a good idea to take a break from It would be a good idea to take a break from Orcas Island for a bit. Now, you might think that Colt's transport-related interests would only be in the realm of airplanes and automobiles, but that would be far from the truth.
Ooh.
And that is the end of part 2.
What a good that it really starting to ratchet up here. I love I'm painting myself a picture here of the tribal, the historic tribal land, watching this plane crash down. You're like, what in the world is going on? We got to go help this person. Then you get there. There's nobody there.
That would be weird.
There's a grocery store. The crew comes in. There's nothing missing. The ATM's beat to hell. There's blood and bleach everywhere. There's 8 pieces of salami missing. Nobody knows what to do.
I mean, you're just like, what is going on here? I mean,
so everyone in this story is showing up to these places just absolutely befuddled as to what is going on. I'm thinking back of the person who's they showered in their house. So many weird things.
So many weird things.
Yeah.
This is only. We're not done.
We're only 1/3 of the way through.
Yes, exactly.
Good Lord.
All right. So on that note, just an extra reminder, as usual, we got the new stuff we got coming out: videos, newsletters. We actually have a Joyride specific website that's in the works too. So. Check that out in the description box and other places you'll find us, including Instagram, TikTok, and all those sorts of places. And again, thank you for Kyle for joining me in on this.
Thank you.
This multi-part episode here. Well, with that said, I think we'll bring things to a close. So, signing out.
All right, take it easy.